from Australia. It's from the Arnhem Land, which is the Northern Territory. Also, side note, just let me know this should keep looping, like different slots, but if you don't see it, just like stop. So the didge, this is not an authentic didgeridoo. This is a plastic one, but the authentic ones are made from wood or bamboo. And the way that you play the didge is you will be sitting and connected to like some sort of nature. Like I practice sitting on the grass, and I think the didge is all about nature and connecting body, mind, and spirit. And so I think that's why in traditional cultures where these would be used at ceremonies and social gatherings, that everyone would be sort of sitting like this. So I'm gonna ask all of you to sit on the floor with me, so that it kind of feels like a social gathering. The music of the didgeridoo is not notated, so there's no notation system to this day for it, so all of the music is basically improvised, and so that's kind of unique because in each ceremony it's never going to be the same. So again, it's used to accompany chants and songs. Today, if you were to see didgeridoos used in like street music, so to speak, you might see a vocalist with rhythm sticks accompanying, playing with the didge, and the would accompanying them and sort of intertwining. So sometimes one would accompany the other. So like I was saying before about nature, the didge is actually referred to as the voice of the earth, and it is the instrument of Australia. And I also think that because you play it like this, it's sort of an extension of your voice and you're calling out to some sort of spirit, whether it's religious or not. It could just be those natural spirits that are around you. And so a lot of the sounds that are made are based on animal calls. Okay, so up here I have the three, my didgeridoo, an authentic Australian didgeridoo, and then an emu call. As you might guess, just based on their lengths, this one is the longest, so it has the lowest fundamental note, and as they get shorter, the pitch is higher, which is pretty standard for what we know to be about instruments and music. And by looking at the picture, you can kind of end by this. You can see that there's sort of like a bell at the bottom, and that's why you can also tell it's not authentic, because didges don't usually have this this bell shape at the end. It makes it more modern and more traditional, like a band instrument, say a brass instrument. A trumpet has the bell, a saxophone has the bell. Based on what you saw in the other picture, the authentic didges are really ornate in their the way they're presented in terms of the details on the actual instrument themselves. As you can see, this doesn't really have much pizzazz to it, and so I really appreciated that my friend who happened to go to Australia 4 years ago, that I never knew he actually went there, was talking conversation about how we had a didgeridoo, and I had not told him anything that I was doing this project, and so I made sure that I snagged his didge to be able to practice, and I was able to really see the ornateness up close, which was awesome. Those are the three animal sounds that I'll be showing you today. That is a dingo, which is sort of like a wolf dog, coyote dog, and then this is a kookaburra, and then that's a kangaroo. But the previous slide said getting a sound, so I kind of want to show you how to do that. We can all kind of do this together, even though I don't have a didgeridoo for all of you to use. So if you play brass instruments, usually like you lick your lips before you start sometimes. So ask everyone to lick their lips a little bit, and then just blow some air and buzz like this. And then to create the sensation that you have an instrument on your face, just go like this with your hand. It's not authentic, obviously, but right, awesome. So you can kind of get the sense of what it's like. You can already feel that there's more resistance there than if you were just blowing into a stream of air. So when you put that with the instrument, another thing that I found fascinating was that you start the sound with a P, like that. But I'm a clarinet player, I'm a woodwind player, And even with brass too, you know, it's always with tongue with a T, so that was something for me to adjust to. And I actually didn't realize that I was starting my sounds with T until about 3 weeks into my project, where I said I'm not even starting the sound correctly, which, you know, when you use your tongue with a T, it changes your tongue placement. I think it was changing some of the notes that I was getting as my fundamentals. So it kind of sounds like this. And just like other instruments like flute, I know when I teach flute, I always talk about like a magic spot or the sweet spot of where to have the head joint. And if you're working just with a brass mouthpiece, you want to find where that sound really resonates. And it's the same thing with this. I'm not sure if I'm going to demonstrate different sounds, but sometimes the fundamental just isn't as resonant. Like that kind of fuzziness, so you want to really get the to really hear that resonating. Also, in terms of the difference between this and, say, a traditional brass or wood instrument, it's always frowned upon to puff your cheeks out in terms of playing in a band, let's say. But for this, it's not really frowned upon because air is super important, and so however you're going to produce that sound is sort of what you need to do. But as a classically trained clarinetist, you'll see my corners are usually in when I play this, but that's just because of where I came from. Oh, but it is going back and forth. That's great. So let's see. I just wanted to fast. Oh, I forgot to mention the most important part. As we discovered in Dr. Parks' class, I should not be playing the didgeridoo because I'm a female. Only in traditional didgeridoo playing for tribal ceremonies, it was only males who played. But of course today, anyone can really play. So like that. And then this is a video. I want to show you the 3 different sounds on authentic didgeridoo. Before we do that, actually, we can sort of explore those sounds without the didge. So the first, repeat after me, just go. So it's hard because you're doing that while blowing air through it, which I will show you, and I'll show you here also. And then the next, so that's the dingo sound, so that like sort of coyote and dog howl. And then the kookaburra sound is like so a little bit more easy because you don't really have any vocal movement, but it is that k syllable while still keeping that airstream going. So it takes a lot of rhythmic pulsation in order to get that out. And then the final sound is the kangaroo sound, which is my favorite. And it reminds me of like multiphonics. I can't do it, but it's sort of like if you go to like and that's kind of hard to do because you're not really using your voice when you're doing an instrument. There's no vocalization that goes on. Like with the other two, you are making a sound with your voice. But for that, you're just moving your mouth in that shape. You're not really engaging the vocal cords in that way. So I just work on my keg a little more. So you have to do the changing so that is sort of the 3 sounds that I'm going to use later on, but there are many more animal sounds that you can emulate, so those are just some examples. So like I touched on before, the didge for me was a very much mind, body, and spirit activity. And I took a course in college a year ago about like meditative practices, and a lot of the music I listened to did have didgeridoo in the background, but I didn't really understand the purpose for it. And I also know that it is an acquired sound to listen to, in my opinion, I didn't really like the sound beforehand, but I feel like understanding from a meditative standpoint makes me enjoy it a little bit more. So I think because you're sitting, and because it really is simple, it's very just, it's all about the sound that is being produced, and you don't have to do anything crazy with your fingers, and it's all about engaging that breath, and that's really what meditation is about, is keeping your breath engaged the whole time. So it would be much easier if I knew how to circular breathe, but I don't. But as a wood player, I think I have a pretty strong, set of lungs, so hopefully I'll be able to sustain some sounds for you a little bit later. And then today, the dude is using some alternative rock bands and such. And as you can see, he's playing guitar and he's singing, but there are two digits right there that extend further than that picture. And so what I thought I would do, a performance, is I just chose a loop from GarageBand. We rehearsed this class yesterday. And that kind of sounds modern. And I'm just going to improvise on it. I haven't prepared anything. It may not be the most pleasant sound that you're going to hear. Again, it is an acquired sound, in my opinion. So you may go, oh my gosh, this is not my taste, and that's totally okay. But I'm just give you sort of an example of how this could be, engaging for today's students who like that kind of music. So just give me 1 second. I think through this exploration, I was talking to Lena the other day about how I could use this in the classroom, and I wasn't able to show you. I should have played this in comparison to the authentic Australian didgeridoo, but there really isn't too much of a difference in the sound. So it's not like you're shortchanging your students if you don't use another instrument that came from Australia in terms of the sound production. And you can use PVC pipes and make them yourselves. And just the idea of that breath support that is so important for all music making that we do, instrumental or vocal, are definitely applicable to the classroom. And I think today in schools, meditative practices are becoming more and more common, and having those safe spaces for students, and starting class with some kind of yoga or just some sort of reflective, quiet period of time is something that I'm seeing a lot in schools, especially in Connecticut. So it racks my brain and makes me think of how I can incorporate this into the classroom. That's it.